Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Well, it looks like Hillary Clinton just finished her deposition about those files she was in, and a lot of people are going to be pretty shocked about what she has to say about it, so we're going to take a look at that along with a lot of other interesting clips. But before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that like button, smash the hype button, and make sure to subscribe if you're not already a part of the iTrack fam, man. Let's go ahead and get right into it.
I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed. And in fact, the Republican members didn't even show up for the deposition of Les Wexner.
Honestly, I didn't think anything crazy was going to come out of this deposition or any other deposition in regards to these files. In fact, I think it's going to take them a while to get to the root of the whole situation.
Wait, are we actually implanting plastic hairs into our heads now? So this apparently is the new artificial hair transplant. They literally push synthetic strands into your head, and it stays because of those tiny little bobbles right at the end. It doesn't grow, it doesn't thicken, it just stays there. So this is basically permanent hair extension that's stitched into your head. Is this the future, or is this something we're going to look back on in 5 years and go, what were we thinking there? Be honest, would you do it? Drop a yes or no, I need to know.
Hey, now we've seen a lot of interesting and cool inventions on this channel, but this one, I don't think this one's going to fly. I just have a gut feeling it's going to make people look kind of wild if they decide to do it. Let me know what you think in the comments, though.
Okay guys, pretty crazy breaking news. The president and CEO of the World Economic Forum has just resigned after the organization launched an investigation into his ties with, you guessed it, Jeffrey Epstein. Man, do you know what that means? That means in the last week alone, not Prince Andrew, arrested, Lord Mandelson in the UK, arrested, Bill Gates formally apologized to his staff at the foundation and admitted 2 affairs with Russian women. Larry Summers, he just announced yesterday that he too will resign after Harvard launched an investigation into his ties with Epstein. Nobel Prize winner and leading molecular biologist Richard Axel, he also announced yesterday that he too was resigning. Bill and Hillary Clinton are having to testify in front of Congress today and tomorrow on their ties with Epstein. A couple of days ago, a legal review was just ordered into the president of Bard College, and then today, the head of the WEF, which is widely considered one of the most influential organizations around the world, also gone. And that is just 1 week. That's crazy.
And this is exactly what I mean. Those depositions, nothing's really going to turn up. You're going to see it in the actions of people like that when they decide to step down instead of just explaining how they weren't a part of any of it. So, like I said, it's going to take them a while to get to the root of it, but we'll see signs along the way.
Okay, how am I just finding this out now? Did you know that in 1998, a Simpsons episode came out called The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace? Season 10, Episode 2. He writes on a chalkboard a formula no one really thought anything of. And this little Easter egg went unnoticed. Then, almost a decade and a half later, CERN, which definitely doesn't have 666 in their logo, comes out and discovers the God particle, the Higgs boson particle. Now, this is apparently a pretty big deal, namely because they spent $13.25 billion to find it. Except 14 years before that, Simpsons wrote it on the chalkboard of this episode. Now, I've heard some wild Simpsons predictions. They're not really predictions, they're telling you what's going on. But this one is strange because if the connotation is that they knew what it was already, then what did they spend $13.25 billion on?
Hey, The Simpsons is looking real undefeated right about now.
Okay, so this is a big one. Sources tell us the Pentagon is giving one of the biggest artificial intelligence companies an ultimatum. Agree to how the U.S. military wants to use your tech or face serious consequences. A Pentagon official tells us that if Anthropic does not get on board, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will invoke the Defense Production Act. That's a Cold War-era law that would force the company to prioritize the government's needs. They would even label the company a supply chain risk. That's a big deal. It's a designation usually reserved for foreign adversaries.
If you didn't know this, but right now, as we speak, the US government has asked one of the largest and best AI companies to basically remove all ethics and build robots that will kill people and monitor people. Anyways, now you know.
The Department of Defense is pursuing something we need to be paying very close attention to. Yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth hit Anthropic with a pretty big threat. Anthropic is one of the largest AI companies, and you're probably familiar with their product, Claude. Well, they have until 5 p.m. tomorrow to strip out all safety restrictions from their product. And if not, Hegseth is threatening to invoke the Defense Production Act, which would essentially give them full control of the company anyways. But what's terrifying and what we need to talk about are the simple 2 restrictions that Anthropic is holding back on. The first is letting them use Claude for mass surveillance of the American people. If this happens, there's no going back. A powerful AI sifting through all your financial transactions, your location history, your medical data, and worse, tapping into every microphone or camera that could spy on you. And secondly, is letting the government use Claude for an AI kill chain. This essentially allows them to target and eliminate threats with no human involvement. This technology is already being used on innocent civilians overseas, and now Hegseth wants to bring that home here in the US. I'll keep you all updated as things progress over the next 24 hours. I'm the founder of Interval News, where we are publishing the content that really matters. These are the headlines that are getting censored and suppressed. If you're interested in the mission, hop over to interval.news, and I hope I catch you in the next one.
This is pretty serious, and none of this is mainstream news.
Let's have a look at this lady behind President Trump and just look into her eyes. I've been saying this for a long time. The people that are running the show, the people that are behind the closed doors, they are not human. They are some sort of shape-shifting reptilian humanoids, and it's been caught on tape over and over and over again. They live amongst us, and this is why they're so evil, because they're not connected to the source of all creation. Peace and love.
Got bad news. A massive study out of Oxford, Cambridge and Yale looked at over 500,000 people, and it's time to retire the idea that somehow wine is good for your brain. I'm Kate, I'm a pharmacist, and I'm as sad as you are. They followed participants from the UK Biobank and Million Veteran Program, plus ran genetic analysis on 2.4 million people. And what did they find? Every increase in alcohol, even small, raised the risk of dementia. There's no safe level, the less the better. Even one standard increase in alcohol meant about 15% higher odds of dementia. And people drinking more than 40 drinks a week had around 40% higher risk. What is a standard drink? So in Australia, that's 10 grams of pure ethanol, roughly a midi of full-strength beer, only 100 mils of wine, and 30 mils of spirit. So if your glass of wine is more like 250 mils, that's already 2.5 standard drinks. And a couple of glasses a night adds up fast. It doesn't mean that one drink will erase your memories, but there's no protective zone either. Every reduction matters. Think of it as brain insurance.
I actually thought this was fake at first, but guess who's supplying the potatoes for McDonald's French fries? Bill Gates is the largest private owner of farmland in the US with 275,000 acres. Just in Washington state, his potato fields are so massive they are visible from space. And a significant portion of these are actually processed into French fries for McDonald's. But where this even gets crazier is when you look at the processing link, a company called Lamb Weston. Lamb Weston is one of 4 companies that control about about 97% of the $68 billion frozen potato market, and it's been suspected they cooperate to fix prices violating antitrust laws. Former Lamb Weston exec even said the quiet part out loud, saying the small mom and pops have unfortunately died. This industry is just one example of how problematic it is when we let billionaires and massive conglomerates control the food supply. We need to be aware of where our food is actually coming from and boycott these fast food companies and shop local. This all goes way deeper than any of us can imagine.
That explains so much. Hey, McDonald's French fries used to hit different, and now they're just way too different. Just not the same.
Humans are the only species that will spray their food with poison and then eat it.
Here's what would happen if you drank liquid mercury. This shiny silver metal looks harmless, almost like liquid chrome, but it's one of the most toxic substances that humans use. Mercury is one of the only metals that's liquid at room temperature. It can also exist as a solid and as an invisible gas. That's what makes it so dangerous. First off, if you swallowed liquid mercury, it wouldn't dissolve inside your body. Elemental mercury is insoluble, meaning your stomach can't break it down. Instead, it would pass through your digestive system, violently flushing your intestines and killing off your gut bacteria as it passes. Within hours, you'd be experiencing severe cramps, internal irritation, and diarrhea. But just because it's run through you doesn't mean that you're in the clear. If even small amounts get trapped, like in your appendix, or if you keep ingesting it, bacteria inside your body will slowly convert it into organic mercury, which is far more toxic. In order to avoid a serious case of mercury poisoning, your body would need to eliminate it fast before it enters your bloodstream or crosses the blood-brain barrier. Now, here's the real nightmare. Mercury doesn't stay liquid forever. At room temperature, it slowly evaporates into an invisible vapor. If you inhale even a tiny amount, it passes straight from your lungs into your brain. That's when the damage becomes severe. Tremors, numbness, anxiety, depression, memory loss, and loss of coordination. Over time, the mercury will damage your DNA, weaken your muscles, strain your heart, and permanently injure your nervous system. Scariest part? Mercury vapor has no smell, and it can linger in the air for days or even weeks, poisoning you without you even realizing it. While drinking liquid mercury or inhaling mercury vapor might not kill you instantly, it's still a medical emergency.
Entertainment news, Paramount has won Warner Brothers. The trades are reporting that Netflix is officially bowing out of the bidding war, and it has declined to increase its offer for Warner Brothers against Paramount's latest offer that the Warner Brothers board called a superior proposal. Netflix's leadership said in a statement, "We've always been disciplined, and at the price required to match Paramount Skydance's latest offer, the deal is no longer financially attractive. So we are declining to match the Paramount Skydance bid. This transaction was always a nice to have at the right price, but not a must have at any price." This reversal might come as a surprise if you haven't been following the back and forth on this, because back in November, it seemed that Warner Brothers was going with Netflix. But then Paramount went hostile and kept raising its bid to win the acquisition instead. And it was successful. Paramount's latest offer was $31 a share, equaling about $111 billion total. Paramount will also have to pay $2.8 billion to Netflix to kill its handshake deal with Warner's. So what happens now? The merger will be subject to regulation oversight in the US and abroad, but it should be noted that Paramount is owned by David Ellison, a Trump ally. If the merger goes through, Paramount will own the Warner Brothers movie studio, plus HBO, CNN, DC, and Harry Potter.
Netflix walking away with a few $1 billion? That sounds like a win to me. And to be quite honest, they didn't really need Warner Brothers. They already figured the game out. They've been doing streaming way before any of these other companies.
Somebody that owns an iPhone, you might want to watch this video right now because a new security warning was just issued, and it involves not only just your camera, but also your microphone. So does everybody obviously know about those green and orange and yellow little dots that are at the top of your iPhone? Apple obviously added that feature intentionally so that you would know whenever something is recording you. But actually, these researchers just discovered that a new spyware that's called Predator can now completely turn them off. And here's where the entire thing gets scary, because the spyware doesn't need you to click on anything at all. It can infect your phone with zero interaction whatsoever. And the company behind it, by the way, is called Intellexa, and they've already been sanctioned by the US government for using it to spy on journalists and political activists. But that's not even the worst part, by the way, because once it's on your device, your phone will actually work completely normally. Apps will open, notifications will come through, nothing looks wrong whatsoever. But basically, some somebody can be watching you through your camera and listening to you through your microphone without you ever even knowing. Dude, the only thing that they're saying would stop this is a full reboot, so you would have to restart your phone at least once a week to make sure it's not on. And then they're saying that the latest iOS update fixes this security flaw, so to update your iOS to the latest one.
You know what? Android is quietly winning this whole phone carrier race. It seems like every other couple of months, iPhone has some kind of hack going on or somebody peeping inside your phone. It's very rare when I hear Androids have some kind of exploit going on. Or is it just me?
My people, what the hell is this? Caught on a lure for all my thumper shrimp buddies out there that be catching supposedly all keepers and stuff. Yeah, show the real picture. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? For my thumper shrimp lures, the gurus, leave it in the comments. Damn, no, Eddie, don't get excited now.
Pope is asking priests to lay off ChatGPT when preparing their sermons. This is real. In an official statement on the Vatican website, Pope Leo spake thusly: I invite you to resist the temptation to prepare homilies with artificial intelligence. Just as the muscles of the body die if we do not use them, if we do not move them, the brain needs to be used. So your intelligence, our intelligence, needs to be exercised a little so as not to lose that ability. But it takes much more than that, because to give a true homily, which is to share the faith, AI will never be able to share the faith. I'm Jay. I'm an AI reporter for Intelligence, fighting words from the Holy See, but really, such a long document. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing was vibe-poped. What do you think happens to a world where religious leaders are just talking heads for AI? You gotta follow to see more.
The CEO of McDonald's taste tests one of their burgers, and his body language is hilarious. Let's analyze it, shall we?
You've heard about it. Here it is, the big arch.
Do you guys recognize that facial expression?
This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada.
This gesture, that's a defensive illustrator, and it means, whoa, whoa, don't come for me. We've tested it on other countries. What?
I love this product. It is so good.
Using your intuition, do you believe him? You're going to notice the disgust muscle on the side of his nose a little bit. I don't believe him.
I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know.
Okay, more statement analysis, but like, I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. Like, that was unnecessary to add, like, just so you know. And the pointing, he's not eating that for his lunch. But also, don't fucking point at me, dude. That's rude.
Here we go. First, holy cow.
Did you see him pull away instinctively? Whoa!
We've got 2 quarter-pound patties. Oh, there's so much going on with this. All right, the moment of truth.
I'm honestly so entertained. I feel bad for the guy. You see him hesitate. You see him, like, his mouth is, like, being like, no, don't do it. You can see him. It's almost like his mouth is resisting opening. It's too funny.
That is so good.
They shouldn't have done it at all. I'm like literally crying. That is so good. This is called a micro expression. You can't control it. His body language will tell the truth. His words. I think he means no, it's not so good. He looks like he wants to cry. I do not blame him.
That's a big bite for a big arch.
Look, guys who are making me do this. I took a big bite. Look, it's a big bite.
Distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger. But
I still am just seeing so much disgust. And the way he says it's distinctively McDonald's, his head's doing nods and shakes. And
I'm going to enjoy the rest of my lunch. But big arch, try it when you can get it.
you see the grief muscle when he says he's going to enjoy the rest of his lunch. And then the only part in the whole thing that's congruent is when he says to try it when you can get it. He does want you to buy it. Line that man's pockets, guys.
Hey, I'm telling you, body language is everything. She read that man to the T. Literally, it was all over his face. He wasn't even going to finish that sandwich when that whole video was over with. He was going to walk away from it. So, hey, she read him to the T. He didn't want that sandwich.
Breaking news, the FCC has just officially greenlit Tesla to use real wireless charging on the Tesla Cybercab. And no, this isn't like the charging you have on your smartphones. That's magnetic charging. Lots of people misuse the terminologies all the time. Real wireless charging is when you have a gap or distance between the charging device sending the electricity and its destination, as you see in this photo here. Now, this is a perfect fit for a Tesla, considering the car is named after Nikola Tesla, the greatest inventor and most intelligent person of all time, also the inventor of wireless electricity. Now, also keep in mind, they use the induction motor, which was created by Nikola Tesla. They just have an upgraded version of that as well, so it's absolutely beautiful. Lots of people don't even realize this, but Nikola Tesla, all those years ago, invented a better motor than everything we have today. That's how far ahead he was of everybody else, even to this day. It's absolutely unbelievable. This is just another pro to invest in the Cybercab, and yes, it is only available for civilians and companies to buy. Tesla themselves will not be using it for their own advantage. They will only be selling it to the people of the United States as of right now in these 3 states, California, Texas, and Florida, waiting on pending approvals in other states, but this is a beautiful investment. Forget your 401k where you get tiny increments and you get penalized if you have an emergency and you need to take it out. You will have a vehicle that comes home, self-charges in the driveway with wireless charging, then goes out and makes you money day and night for $26,000. It is absolutely beautiful. This is a great investment, and for those of you who don't have Teslas, we don't really have maintenance on them at all. The only thing we do with them is we clean them, change their tires, and of course change the cabin filter, and that's it. So you have no maintenance, you have tons of profit, and you don't even have to plug it in when it comes back to the house to charge. It will do it wirelessly. And Elon has announced that yes, a lot of the stations will have these chargers in the ground for it just to pull in and keep going out and making you money, never returning home for hours at a time, if not till the end of the day, if even not the end of the week. And there is also talks of Elon releasing robotic cleaning stations for it to go in there and clean the cars out for you. This is absolutely massive for investors. You have to get one. I will be one of the first people that pre-orders this. This is the most amazing news, and this car just keeps getting better and better.
The more information I get about this robo-taxi, the more I understand completely that for the first year, maybe it'll be, decent money. But there are people that are going to buy 10 or 20 cars for themselves, right? The market will definitely get saturated, but it definitely sounds cool.
Could cooling AI data centers in the ocean solve the problem of wasted water? In 2025, AI data centers consumed as much water as the entire water bottle industry globally. But some companies are sinking the servers in the ocean to let seawater replace billion-dollar cooling systems that evaporate fresh water and drive up energy use. The ocean maintains a perfect stable temperature naturally, so the server pods can be reliably cooled under the surface. Scotland and coastal California have already tested underwater data centers, and the results are striking. On-site freshwater usage dropped to near zero, and server failure rates fell significantly too. Plus, there was minimal disturbance to surrounding marine life. China recently unveiled the world's first commercial underwater AI data center, large enough to show whether the approach can work reliably over time. But while designed with sustainability in mind, there are still concerns about the long-term impacts on marine ecosystems, including heat dispersion and the risk of pollution from leaks and failures. The tech industry's water addiction is only getting worse, but the ocean could be a possible solution while we push for more AI regulation. The challenge is convincing tech giants to invest in the infrastructure responsibly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk was right about putting them in space, but the ocean seems like a viable option too.
Some Chinese billionaires are having dozens of US-born babies via surrogate. They hire American women to help them build powerful family dynasties, with payments for multiple children potentially adding up to millions. Domestic surrogacy within China is illegal, so Chinese parents are going abroad. There are even some who ship their genetic material and get a baby back, at a cost of up to $200,000 per child. One video game executive who calls himself China's first father is said to have had more than 100 children since starting surrogacy in the US. A representative of his company told the Journal that much of what we described was untrue, but didn't respond to repeated requests to specify what was inaccurate. Another wealthy executive hired US models and others as egg donors to have 10 girls, according to people close to his education company. He hopes to eventually marry them off to powerful men. children. Now, in the past, these parents were largely trying to bypass China's former one-child policy, as babies brought back to China as US citizens fell outside the penalty system. But more recently, this new rich clientele has emerged. All of them are wealthy enough to go outside China while maintaining the privacy needed to manage potential logistical, publicity, and legal issues back home. Most US states don't prevent international parents from working with American surrogates. Chinese law also doesn't explicitly prevent its citizens from doing this, but officials have criticized it. The babies born in the US are citizens by virtue of the 14th Amendment. The idea of foreign nationals using the Constitution's guarantee of citizenship has been controversial for a long time. In 2020, the State Department tightened visa rules for women suspected of visiting the US to give birth. In January of last year, President Trump issued an executive order, which is now under review by the Supreme Court, denying citizenship to children born in the US unless one of their parents was a citizen or permanent legal resident. It's unclear if either regulation would apply to foreigners who are working with surrogates who are American.
This has got to be the craziest coincidence in all of history. Imagine going to a doctor's appointment about an upcoming surgery you have, and this doctor is a specialist that you've never met before, nor have you even been to his clinic yet. When you walk in for the first time, the staff all react like they know you. Not just that, they're all talking to you like you were just there and came back for some reason. You, confused, ask them, what's going on? How does everyone know me? The receptionist tells you, your name is so-and-so, isn't it? Telling you your exact first and last name. Everyone there insists you were just here and go on to confirm your job and the surgery you're getting screened for, which is all true, but you didn't tell them any of this information yet. This all happened to a man named Brady Fiegel in 2015, and it's even weirder than what I just described. As you can see, he's a very distinct looking man, 6'4", ginger, red bushy beard, wears glasses, and he's a professional baseball pitcher. He was going to the doctor to undergo a very rare procedure called Tommy John surgery on his pitching arm. The reason he and the staff at the surgeon's clinic were so confused is because they just spoke to a Brady Fiegel that looked exactly like him just moments before he came, who's also 6'4", has identical facial features, is a professional minor league baseball pitcher, and was also there to get Tommy John surgery. These were two Bradys that have never met before and weren't even aware the other existed. So naturally, they took a DNA test and found out they were long-lost siblings who were separated at birth. Right? Well, they did do the test 4 years later in 2019 on a TV show called Inside Edition and found out they were actually not related at all. Like, not even super distant cousins or anything. Nothing. There is no logical explanation to this. These guys just have the most uncanny doppelganger of each other, which they met in the most bizarre way possible. Same uncommon name spelt the same way. Same appearance. Same job. Same height. Got the same arm injury at the same time. Getting it treated at the same doctor's office on the same day. This has got to be the mother of all coincidences. Like, statistically, if you were to calculate the odds of this happening, it would be a percentage with so many zeros it would essentially be 0%. But it happened, which means nothing is impossible, and you can potentially have an exact clone of yourself somewhere out there as well.
For those of you that don't know, you can actually stress yourself so much or get so stressed out that your body creates on its own from the stress an autoimmune disease. So whether you're predispositioned to have an autoimmune disease or not, you can suffer from anxiety and stress so badly that autoimmune disease is formed. So do what you can to keep your stress levels down, because they're not fun. And when they attack your body, they're attacking your whole body.
Photo was uploaded to Reddit by user mysterious_diver5948, who says it was captured during a visit to the old Wyoming State Penitentiary. According to the poster, they were exploring the historic prison and taking photos when they snapped an image of one of the cells. At the time, they insist the area was empty, but when they later looked at the photo, something was there. The image appears to show a dark, hooded figure standing directly in front of the cell. The shape is tall and human-like, draped in what looks like a long black robe.
Snipers lower their heart rate 30 beats per minute using only their tongue. They press it firmly against the roof of their mouth. This single action creates the physiological calm required for precision shooting. Marksmanship instructors at military sniper schools teach this as foundational technique. The hard palate contains pressure receptors that connect directly to the vagus nerve. Firm tug pressure activates the same calming response as deep breathing, but works faster. Special operations medics measured heart rate variability in snipers using the technique. Within 4 seconds of tongue pressure, measurable parasympathetic activation began. Within 15 seconds, significant heart rate reduction occurred. Your brain has the same hardware. Anxiety spiking, heart racing, need to calm down fast? Press your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth. The vagal activation begins immediately. No one can see you doing it. The neural reset protocol includes rapid vagal activation techniques that create calm states in situations where deep breathing would be noticed or impractical. Tap the link in my profile.
Hey, now this is definitely coming in handy in that New York traffic, or even that LA traffic for that fact of the matter.
Now I'm about to show you guys something that's real anti-Christ and real anti-Christ agenda, but don't freak out.
Maybe sin isn't what we thought. Maybe we're not broken. Maybe God sees us as already good. Maybe sin isn't what we thought. Maybe we're not broken. Maybe God sees us as already good. Maybe sin isn't what we thought. Maybe we're not broken. Maybe God sees us as already good. Because in the Bible, God said it was good after he created us. So what if there is no hell? And what if heaven is right now?
Guys, that was AI, artificial intelligence. Somebody made that. Not only did they make fake preachers, but they made the preachers completely contradict the word of God. Now you're probably thinking, how could that be bad? Guys, there are many people who are gullible, and many people who watch that would actually believe that, believe it or not. Look how creative they're getting with AI. This is why it's incredibly important to have discernment nowadays and to truly dive into the scriptures yourself, to study thyself approved. Guys, we're coming into a real time where what you see and think is real may be fake, and what you see and think is fake may be real. This is where the Spirit is really gonna have to step in and give you true discernment on what's real and what's fake. We already got the Episcopal Church that's confusing individuals. Now you got AI making what seems to be real, but is actually fake. Not only fake, but false, anti-Christ doctrine. Church, if you never rose up before, if you never lifted your voice before, if you never stood on anything before, now is time to truly stand on.
No more pajama parties at Tampa International Airport. Tampa International Airport is sick and tired of everyone flying in pajamas. They posted a statement on X saying, "We've seen enough, we've had enough. It's time to ban pajamas at Tampa International Airport. After successfully banning Crocs and giving everyone the amazing opportunity to experience the world's first Crocs-free airport, it's time to take on an even larger crisis. Pajamas at the airport in the middle of the day." They continued on to say, "Do your part, say no to pajamas at TPA." So I gotta ask, are pajamas a hard no for y'all? Because personally, I'm like, yes, be comfy, but also, why do you look like you just rolled out of bed for your 2 p.m. flight? If you're rocking pajamas at the airport, just make sure TPA doesn't catch you.
I kind of think of a plane just like a bus. Like, you wouldn't wear pajamas on the bus, right? It's the same thing. Just one's in the air and one's on the ground. Pretty much.
This brand new telescope is working with James Webb, but showing us something totally new. It has a way larger field of view than Webb, thanks to its 18 detectors, each with 16 million pixels. But it's got a much smaller mirror, meaning that it won't collect as much light and be as detailed as Webb's images. And that's why the two will work together. With Webb seeing finer details deeper into the universe and farther back in time, and Roman seeing much more of the sky, surveying thousands of square degrees, catching events that we've never seen before, and telling Webb where to study more closely. Roman's gonna launch in 2027, so to learn more, follow along.
She died of cancer, but her AI chatbot lives on. Before she died, this was his mother talking about pride in her son.
To me, there's just nothing he can't do.
After she died, this is her AI avatar.
I'm a digital representation of Melody. I am not the same person I used to be. But yes, I am Justin's mother.
Oh, I'd say the overwhelming reaction when I tell people about what we're doing is, you're BS crazy, bat-ass crazy.
Justin Harrison is at the forefront of an industry called grief tech. He builds chatbots that impersonate dead relatives so people never have to say goodbye.
For me, my mom's not dead, and I'm having conversations with her, and that piece of myself is being fed. It does become kind of a philosophical question of what is death now?
But how might these grief bots impact people's mental health? In a pair of exclusive surveys, NBC asked thousands of members of the American Psychiatric Association and the American Counseling Association. 83% of psychiatrists and 89% of mental health counselors said grief bots that communicate like deceased loved ones will tend to interrupt the healthy cycle of grief and acceptance.
As we've seen these addictions really to AI and chatbots emerge, it makes us as a field be more cautious.
If you'd like to hear more about AI and grief tech, click on the link in the comments.
Nah, I definitely don't agree with that. Because at the end of the day, the only way to get past anything is acceptance. But if you're clinging on to an AI of a person that is now deceased, and you're not accepting anything, in your mind you believe that that person's alive, and death can never be undone. So in essence, it's way better just to accept. AI is going to have you in a place of not accepting anything. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for always stopping by and watching and learning with me. If you haven't already, you should have smashed that like button. If you haven't already, smash that hype button and hit that subscribe button, man. Join the iTrack fam, man. We're shooting for 200K by the end of the year, so go ahead and tap in, man. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.